Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Councilmember Brouillon.
Here.
Councilmember Carr.
Here.
Councilmember DeRigo.
Here.
Councilmember Wells.
Here.
And Mayor O'Neill.
Here.
First,
Can I just say something before we go any further? As mayor, I'd like to apologize for what happened last week. Got a little out of hand, some feelings were hurt. It shouldn't happen that way. I apologize to Ms. Kane Wells for what happened to her. I'd like this conduction of business to be a lot more civil, a lot more, friendly. Just because we don't agree on things don't mean that we have to make it bad for each other. And I would like everybody to consider that from, before you say what you say, maybe take a second to think about it. We all live in the same town, and we all have to conduct ourselves, I think, with respect for each other. Okay? Sorry the meeting got closed down like it did, but that's what's going to happen if that goes on. We could all have a say, we could all put out our side, everything could be good. So when it becomes nasty between the public and the board, the public and the public, the board and the board, I'm going to call for a closing of the public portion or whatever it is in the adjournment of the meeting. But if people want to follow that or not, that would be up to each individual. But I think to save, the best nature of all of us and the best nature of the town, that's what needs to be done. And I would appreciate everybody just taking a little bit of consideration. Us too. I'm not saying that that side of the table. Us too to make this work. Thanks.
presentation by the Highlands Fire Department.
Good evening, everybody. Obviously, you all know me, but Dave Parker, I'm the Fire Department Apparatus Chairman for the Apparatus Committee. What that committee does is it actually specs out fire apparatus, makes sure that we're in compliance with standards and regulations for fire apparatus. Recently, we had the opportunity to work with another department, Marlboro Fire District. It's actually a district and not the department itself. We currently have one of our fire engines that we've been monitoring over the last couple of years. It's 33 years old. We bought the engine from Middletown Township back in 2004 as a used piece of fire apparatus to try to buy us some time. At that time, we were currently looking to get into the firehouse. We had the bids going out for the firehouse. And at that time, to try to purchase a new fire truck would have been difficult, to say the least, while we're trying to do the firehouse at the same time. So what we did was we bought the used fire truck for $15,000. At that time, the borough purchased that truck. We got some good use out of that. It's been a good truck over the years. The last 2 years, we've had some difficulty with passing the certification pump test. It's failed both years in a row. We recently went through an ISO. An ISO is an insurance service office, which actually sets the fire rating for the town. What they do is they kind of come in and they do a whole audit of your fire department, your water system. There's a lot of components that go to it. I think construction's doing one now on the construction side to do theirs. We're able to lower the fire rating in town at that time from a 5, class 5, 10 being the highest class rating, meaning that more of the premiums would be more in town. Your fire insurance is set by those premiums. Kind of similar to the CRS system. Familiar with that feeling. They actually use the model from the fire department, the ISO, for the CRS system. So it sets the fire rating in the town. So when he came in and did the audit, we did go through a lot of our apparatus, our training, everything going through there. We talked to him a little bit about this engine that was going through. The recommendation from him was obviously a replacement in the future, coming up in the very near future, doing that. So the committee, that was in September of 2016. The committee in October of 2016 understand the situation that the town is in right now financially. We have a lot before it with a lot of the flood mitigation projects, a lot of things that are before the town itself. Went out and tried to look. The committee got together, went out and started looking for some used fire apparatus. What can we do to replace the vehicles happily work it out. We actually got in contact with Marlboro Fire District number 1. They currently are buying a new fire engine, and they have a reserve, their piece that they're replacing is 1995 engine. It's fully enclosed. There's a big compliance change in 1991 where they enclosed fire apparatus. Firefighters used to run back of the fire truck, and they used to do that. Prior to 1991, they enclosed the vehicle at that time. The standard from that point forward was to have all your vehicles enclosed. This one that we currently have is an open configuration, they call it. So again, we look at safety. We looked at a bunch of different measures. We started a dialogue with Marlboro. And we wrote a letter explaining our situation in Highlands. That we were affected by Sandy and all the things that happened during Sandy. That are, borough services, the fire department, and the community center are really the only 2 buildings that we have, borough buildings that are current operational. We're in trailers, the whole thing. Their committee, their board actually met over the last few months in the dialogue. We had found out that the vehicle on a trade-in, what they were going to do was $10,000 on a trade-in, doing that, and we had asked them if they were interested in either selling the truck or donating the truck to Highlands. With that being said, we actually found out about 3 weeks ago, they had their meeting, and they decided that they were going to turn the vehicle over to us, met all our specifications for $1, and be able to transfer it to the Highlands Fire Department. Board of Commissioners, Fire Commissioners, and an attorney are working out now all the logistical details of how to do that, how to turn that over, and be able to turn that over to us. It's a 1,500 gallon minute pumper, carries 700 gallons of water. It's a 1995 engine, which puts it at 22 years old now, which is actually the same age as the current engine that we just sent out. Had a lot of work done to it. Maintenance-wise, it's in pretty good shape. It's going to need a little bit of work that we have in there. I have all the maintenance records coming into us. Pump certification passed the last pump test back in July, and it can go through there. I'm here tonight. I just want to obviously announce that and let you guys know that we're having that dialogue with Marlboro. We're waiting for that information to come across. The committee is excited about acquiring the vehicle. We think it will serve our purpose, serve the town well, buy us some time in here to do our FEMA projects and whatever else we have on the agenda to get that done. We are going to need some support along the way with some equipment and some, maybe some maintenance issues that we want to bring it up to par. We feel it'll serve our purpose and it'll drive the guys safely inside the crew of the apparatus to do that. We did a consolidation program probably back in 2013 where we were able to transfer the ladder and one engine for a ladder, what they call a clean concept. I think a lot of you were aware, or some of you were on council at the time when we did that, and that's worked out for us quite well. So we feel this is the next move for us to be able to do that, buy us some time, and look into the future on replacement over the next 5 to 10 years down the road to be able to do that. I actually have a picture. I want to get how to kind of get the picture of what I'm talking about, what we'd be replacing, and what we currently are looking at, just to give you an idea. The top one is the current engine that we are currently looking to replace. Do that. So the top one, the current engine that we currently have is a 1,250 gallon minute, 500 gallon water tank on it. As I said, 33 years old. We got some good life out of it, good service out of it, good engine. We'll certainly come up with a program as we do the transition to either get rid of the apparatus or see how we're going to do that. I believe Brian has worked out the last 2 for us and did that. We're able to do something with that and we'd be able to get rid of that. We've had it in Highlands already. We actually had it back here in November. We took it up on Portland Road, did some of the driveways up in there, making sure that we can get it up into some of the critical areas that we have up in there. The Hoosier Field was a big must for us for the landing zone for helicopter, for medevac coming in, making sure that we can make that driveway, get in there with that, and all the areas down, obviously, in town. The engine's a little bit smaller than the current one that we have. They call it a 6-firefighter, 6-man apparatus. Called 6-firefighter now. Politically correct with that. And, the current engine that we have in service right now is a 10 firefighter apparatus. So it's a little bit smaller, a little bit more compact, and get around the area a little bit better. So we can do those as well. So with that, I mean, any questions that you may have on it or anything I can answer for you?
Idea of what it costs to upgrade to what you need?
Somewhere in the ballpark of $20,000 to $25,000. We're thinking. I'm also going to go back to the fire department at that and see if they can help us in there. See what they can do. But somewhere in that neighborhood. I didn't send it out yet for any bids on equipment. We're getting ready to do that process. Purchasing agent for that to try to so we can send that information out, get some bids on some of the areas that we need to have fixed, and some of the equipment that we need to put on. The big component of it would be the hose on it. The hose that we currently have down there on both engines is actually 18 years old. Usually the standard life on that is 15 years, give or take depending on usage, how much you use and what goes on. But the standard on that is usually 15 years, so we know that's going to be an issue facing us right away to do that, regardless if we're getting the engine or not. We have that issue doing that. Now would be the time to try to upgrade that and be able to do that when we go forward.
Yeah, that's my question, so.
Okay.
Good.
I just actually want to commend you guys. I think it's an excellent effort, knowing taxpayer burden right now, the issues we have with FEMA, to go out and scout out how to ascertain new equipment without having another bond ordinance attached to it. So it's really a huge savings to the taxpayers, and it should be commended, so I thank you.
Thank you.
What is the ages of the rental?
We have an apparatus plan that we do every year. That's part of what the committee does. Right now, the ladder is the newest piece that's with the Quint, with the pump on it. It's 2013. The engine that we just sent out and had done, that's in 1995. The engine that we'd be acquiring now is in 1995, and the rescue truck is in 1984. I go through that. So the fleet, yeah, it's older, but it's a big component of that is usage, how much you use it, and the certification. Getting that pump certified, getting the aerial device certified, that's a requirement annually that we do with those in order to get them certified and make sure that they're working properly, doing what they're capable of doing. So that's
Or if I ask anybody, if they want to.
absolutely. Yeah.
Would anybody like to ask any questions of,
Dave, what would a new pumper cost? If we had to go and buy a new?
To replace that vehicle,
Yeah,
we're looking at anywhere from the $500,000 to $600,000 range, depending on the components that you put on. There are cheaper ones that you get out there. You can certainly do them cheaper, but they don't last as long. We try to get 30 years average out of a fire truck. The industry standard usually 20 to 25 years out of it. We try to extend it to 30 years. Some departments that run more are doing it 10 years. Obviously, the more usage that you get out of them. I know my career department, I'm doing 10 to 12 years. Sometimes I can stretch it 15 years if I do a program called the Glider and get it refurbed and bring it back that way. Do that, but they're running, constantly. And doing it.
they say I try to get 30 years out of a 20-year-old car that I bought.
Well, it's kind of the same thing we're doing with the fire. It's a 20-year-old
What it
piece
takes.
that we're going to try to get 10 years out of, if we can, like we did the last one.
Anybody else?
Kim Scorpio Short Drive. Just curious what it would cost to get the current engine that we have, get that pump fixed and working again.
In order to do that, probably, we haven't gotten a complete estimate on getting the pump completely redone. The pumps can range from anywhere from $40,000 to $75,000 to get a pump on it. Problem with this fire apparatus, it doesn't have the closed-in configuration for the safety factor in it. So you'd eventually have to send that out, have that whole cab enclosed. When I do some of the programs, even when we're doing them at work, up through there, they can range from $200,000 to $300,000 to do a glider program and do a program like that in order to put all the safety features on it. When you do that, you have to bring it up in current compliance, NFPA compliance, National Fire Protection Association. They set a minimum standard on a fire apparatus, on what it's supposed to have, components to it. We'd have to meet that current requirement under, it's called 1901 NFPA, and we have to meet the 2013 standard. So whatever a fire truck is coming out today in the 2013 standard, that would be the compliance that we'd have to make this fire apparatus to do that. Being that this apparatus is already in service and it has to meet the requirements of the 1995 compliance, just like we have with our other instruments doing it. So So we wouldn't have to upgrade any other major components to that, only the areas that are in compliance with 1995.
These type of things where just, you're not using them.
Yeah.
That's just the nature of the beast.
Here in the salt water, they're rough. The one that we just did, we spent a lot of money on trying to get that to par. The other engine, obviously out in Marlboro, we looked at it. The committee got underneath there and crawled underneath it, not even nearly the amount of rust in what we have on the one that we currently have down there, just because of the environment. It's not because you're driving through salt water, it's just the environment that we're in with the natural salt air and what it actually does. So,
Well, I do a lot of, I'm in the fire protection business, as a sprinkler fitter, and it's the same thing with that. You have fire pumps that sit in the building, been there for 20 years, but they wear out. They don't hardly ever get used, except to be tested, but they wear. They're full of water, they're full of air in, water is even worse, and they just wear out. So you gotta be ready to go when you go. Everybody good? Okay.
I obviously support this, it sounds good. I'm just curious where it's gonna come out of in the budget.
I don't know, once he comes up with what he has to get, we'll find it someplace.
Okay.
Got a little bit of money stashed away for a good cause. Anyone else? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dave.
thank you.
Thank you, Dave.
Next on the agenda is the approval of minutes from April 6, 2017 regular meeting.
All of them.
All set.
Councilmember Brian,
Yes.
Councilmember Carr,
Yes.
Councilmember Drigo,
Yes.
Councilmember Wells,
Yes.
and Mayor O'Neill.
Yes.
Those minutes have been approved. Approval of minutes from the May 3rd, 2017 regular meeting.
I'll offer those as well.
I'll second them.
Councilmember Brian,
Yes.
Councilmember Carr,
No.
Councilmember Drigo,
Yes.
Councilmember Wells,
Yes.
Mayor O'Neill.
I'll abstain.
Those minutes have been approved. Karen, you want to have a public portion for the resolutions?
Well, we're going to go up one at a time with comment.
No.
Yeah, sure, we can have public portion for the resolution, sure.
Chris Francie, 36 Fifth Street. Could you discuss the engineering services to B&M? It's not clear what it is on the agenda.
Chris, that's.
Chris, do you have a copy of the,
It's for the road paving of Miller Street from Shore Drive to Bay Avenue, Twin Light Terrace from Ocean Street to South Peach Street.
I'm sorry, Becky.
Okay, I'm sorry. Miller Street from Shore to Bay Avenue, Twin Light Terrace from Ocean Street to South Peak Street, North Peak Street, and Bay Street and Woodland Street to South Peak Street.
road paving?
It's like construction.
Anyone else? Any of these items?
Is that okay, Jay?
When's it going to start?
Okay.
Well, first we have to approve the engineering, then it goes out to bid, then the bids are submitted and collected, and then we award them, and then it
Yes.
starts.
Okay. Close the public portion. Okay.
Mayor, Resolution 107-17, authorizing emergency contracts due to failure of Waterwich Sanitary Sewer Station.
I'll offer it.
I'll second it.
Roll call.
Councilmember Brian,
Yes.
Councilmember Carr,
Before I vote on this, I just want to make it very clear on the new DPW supervisor, Mark, and the DPW guys are doing outstanding work, preventing a lot of sewer problems. They should be commended for that. There's some, unfortunately, false information out there that there was a sewer spill propagated by some people that are normally sitting in this audience, and I wish she was here because I would call her out on it. We got to stop putting out false information, especially with the sewer. Our guys are on it. They should be commended for what they've done. The Water Street pump station is in dire need of some serious repairs. So, on that note, I'll vote yes.
Councilmember Drigo,
Yes.
Councilmember Wells,
Yes.
Excuse me, and Mayor O'Neill.
Yes.
Resolution 107 has passed. Resolution 108 is appointing the public officer.
Offer Dave Ricardo. Second. Roll call.
Councilmember Brian,
Yes.
Councilmember Carr,
Yes.
Councilmember Grigo,
Yes.
Councilmember Wells,
Yes.
Mayor O'Neill.
Yes.
Resolution 108 has been approved. Resolution 109 is awarding a contract for professional engineering services to T&M Associates regarding the 2017 Capital Road Program.
I'll second. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Brian,
Yes.
Councilmember Carr,
Yes.
Councilmember Grigo,
Yes.
Councilmember Wells,
Yes.
Mayor O'Neill.
Yes.
Resolution 109 has been approved. Resolution 110 is appointing the acting chief of police.
I'll offer it.
Appointing Captain Robert Burke.
I will.
Second.
Who
It was Carolyn.
I offer.
Roll call.
Councilmember Brian,
Yes.
Councilmember Carr,
Yes.
Councilmember Grigo,
Yes.
Councilmember Wells,
Yes.
Mayor O'Neill.
Yes.
Resolution 110 has passed. Resolution 111, awarding a licensed site remediation professional a contract for a licensed site remediation professional.
This is for an expert witness in the ongoing litigation that you were involved in at Highlands for the old sewage.
All offer.
I'll second it.
Roll call.
Councilmember Brian,
Yes.
Councilmember Carr,
Yes.
Councilmember Grigo,
Yes.
Councilmember Wells,
Yes.
Mayor O'Neill.
Yes. Did everybody hear what the attorney said? This is for ongoing litigation in relationship to the Atlantic Highlands Sound Sewage Authority. The dissolution of that.
Prior to the regional sewage authority that was dissolved between Atlantic Highlands and Highlands, and there's ongoing litigation with New Jersey Natural Gas.
This is the nat gas.
Yes.
Yes.
And this is for an expert witness for that litigation.
Mayor, Resolution 112 is not going to be presented for consideration at tonight's meeting.
Correct.
Resolution 113 is the payment of bills.
I'll offer.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Brian,
Yes.
Councilmember Carr,
Yes.
Councilmember Grigo,
Yes.
Councilmember Wells,
Yes.
and Mayor O'Neill.
Yes.
That resolution has passed. Resolution 114 is the person-to-person transfer of liquor license.
This is from Grimaldi's to 123 Bay Avenue, and the police department has approved it.
I'll make a motion to move forward.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Brian,
Yes.
Councilmember Carr,
Yes.
Councilmember Grigo,
Yes.
Councilmember Wells,
Yes.
Mayor O'Neill.
Yes.
Resolution 114 has passed. Resolution 115 is appointing deputy municipal clerk and registrar.
I will offer this with pleasure. I will second it. I'm offering Bonnie Brooks.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Brian,
Yes.
Councilmember Carr,
Yes.
Councilmember Grigo,
Yes.
Councilmember Wells,
Yes.
Mayor O'Neill.
Yes.
Resolution 115 has passed.
Oh, yeah. Chief, face for us. We know you
And resolution 116 is appointing the temporary summer seasonal employees.
I'll move that forward.
I'll second.
Okay. Mr. Bluon, second. And their names are Ryan Hall, William Daly, Daniel Marshall, and Russell Carter. Roll call, sir.
Councilmember Brian,
Yes.
Councilmember Carr,
Abstain.
Councilmember DeRigo,
Yes.
Councilmember Wells,
Yes.
Mayor O'Neill.
Yes.
Resolution 116 has passed. Next on the agenda is introduction of ordinance number 17-12, which is amending chapter 10, section 4 of the Borough Code addressing substandard housing.
This ordinance essentially dissolves the substandard housing committee, however, allows the public officer to utilize public officials to serve the system in that capacity. Additionally, the timeframes contained in section 10-4.4 were amended to comply with the statute. Those are the changes, so this is for introduction.
I've spoken to Mr. Mercado about it. It's for safety, the legal matters behind it, substandard housing. You have to be very careful. And he knows there's certain residents in our community that are involved, and he knows how to reach out to them. So I would support that offer. Second.
Roll call, sir.
Second.
Carol.
second.
Who offered? I thought Karen
No,
wanted.
Doug did now.
I'll second.
I thought you.
Councilmember Breon,
Yes.
Councilmember Carr,
Yes.
Councilmember Griego,
Yes.
Councilmember Wells,
Yes.
Mayor O'Neill.
Yes.
Ordinance 7-12, when properly introduced, will have a public hearing and possible adoption on June the 7th. Other business?
Yes, other business. Dale, Cornwall Street flooding issue.
Well, it's the whole area over there that's got multiple issues. Cornwall is one part of it. There apparently was a pipe that went from Cornwall underneath the house over towards North Street at one point. We did not see that pipe when we did the North Street project last summer. However, we did understand there was a pipe that at one point ran that way. We tried to scope it from Cornwall Street. We got about 10 feet in, and the pipe was blocked up solid. It was disintegrated. It was an old corrugated metal pipe that we've seen. Unfortunately, we've seen several of those downtown pretty much collapsing themselves. What I would suggest, instead of trying to keep that easement going and trying to get it back over to North Street, I would suggest trying to bring that towards Bay. It's a longer pipe run, but at the end of the day, it's better for maintenance. It's better for operation of it. It'll be more. It's going to be more sound. I mean, before it had to go underneath it had to go under a driveway, under a shed, through a fence, over the river, through the woods.
It's been contentious, absolutely right.
So I would like to take it towards Bay when we do Cornwall Street, and that'll resolve that whole area of Cornwall, John. Then, of course, the other end of John by Center and Jackson is another issue. We scoped those lines recently, and the lines themselves overall looked like they were in pretty good shape. The biggest problem is a couple lines are 8 and 12 inch, which are really small for storm lines. They tend to back up easier. They block up with leaves and debris much quicker than a standard 15-inch line. Sometimes the way all the grades are downtown, you can't fit a larger line like that just because you're bucking the tide constantly. You'd be underwater constantly. So that's one item of it. Another part of it was the duck bill at the end of Jackson. I'll call it, like a better term, frozen open. So every time the tide came up, the water would just crawl off the pipes, surcharge inlets, and that would go. So there's other areas, or there's, like I said, there's several components of that need to be addressed, but they're separate issues. The Cornwall John is one, and then the Center Jackson John is the second one. And that would be, I would say, to look at that drainage when you would look to do those roads. Obviously, you want to do the road first and do the pipes later. I'm not saying that the pipes and the roads all have to be done at the same time, but it's something that you would do as its own project to look at those pipes, see if you can get larger pipes in. Maybe it's a matter of multiple pipes at this point to try to get more water collected and out, and then maybe reprofile the roads a little bit to get the water away from low-lying areas.
Can we look to do the Cornwall job as part of the drainage? When that we're looking to do?
You could. The bond ordinances that are in place may have to be amended to include that area. I'd have to see the way the wording was, but you can certainly do it. Keep in mind that part of that project was completed under the Shrewsbury North project, which was the third component of the drainage by changing the crossing at North and Bay. That pipe, back by Billy Shea's place, went from like a 36 down to like an 18, then up to a 24, then down to a 12. So a lot of that coming across was resolved. So that component's already squared away. That was in the original project.
But that's only from the east side of Bay Avenue to the river.
Great, but no, we actually went across Bay with that.
Over to the
Yeah, we actually did that
south
because
side?
because we were doing the streetscape intersections there, and we didn't want to pave that intersection. Have to go and rip that pipe up later. So we did that under that project, which in turn frees up some funding, if you will, to possibly do this Cornwall pipe to come up to Bay. Ultimately, if you do that, instead of going, like I said, straight through all the the houses and everything else, you're basically running a U. You're running it up to Bay. It'll collect on Bay, come back down north in the pipes we put in anyway, and shoot out the pump station as it originally did. Just just going to grab it in a different location.
Now, you're certain that storm drain runs in that direction from east on Bay past Cornwall?
It would, yeah. You come up to Bay, and basically as it comes down Bay, you could correct or you could collect the water in the trunk line and run it right down to the pump station.
Okay. Well, having said what I said about the other drainage problem, I would tend to think we should look at it to be done as a separate job in the near future. Because if you see what happens there in just an average rain, both of those catch basins flood up
Yep.
and almost touch across the street. In the last rainfall, it was a nightmare down there.
And Mayor, just to piggyback on that, the catch basins that are there, I believe, are the old 2x2 basins.
I don't know.
I mean, they're really undersized too. So it's almost like it's almost like trying to drain a bathtub. You've got a little 1 inch, 1 1/4 inch drain, and you got a full tub. And, the water's only going to go down as quick as that drain's going to wet.
Understood.
You know.
But they flowed. They did flow before. They did at one time.
Understood.
It was,
Understood. I think a lot of the troubles we're seeing with these old corrugated metal pipes is unfortunately we'll call it collateral damage from sanding, with everybody knocking down houses, rebuilding houses, pounding piles. I mean, the ground's taking a beating lately, and I think a lot of the rusted pipes that were sustaining and holding on are now starting to crumble and collapse on themselves. And unfortunately, we've seen that in a couple different locations now.
So in theory, you go with an oblong shape and get a bigger pipe if you had problems there.
Well, basically, you go with an oblong if you don't have the height, I just say the depth. You go with an oblong, or you can go with multiple pipes. Go with a couple as you need. There's different ways you can look at it to try to grab pitch and try to grab additional collection capabilities.
Okay.
Sometimes you go to a ductile iron instead of a concrete because you've got a thinner wall. You get a larger capacity in that pipe. You don't have to worry about the wall thickness. Maybe you could do an ADS in areas, which is easier to work with, and possibly get you more bang for your buck to maybe extend a project. I mean, there's different ways you can look at it.
Was the ductile that was frozen open replaced?
I do not know.
Or freed of whatever was holding it open?
No, I think it just lost its elasticity.
So it was frozen open?
Yeah, when you ran the camera down the pipe, you could see when you're coming up to it. There was a vertical wall of daylight
It's like a periscope.
as you got to the end of that run.
Can you get the measurement of that pipe for that ductile
I think that's-
over to
I think-
Mark so that he can add that to
Yeah,
the
Mark
shopping list?
Mark has.
Mark has
I
that.
think that is one of those spots.
Yeah.
It's possible. I myself am a flapper valve guy and not a ductile guy. For that reason, I think they lose their elasticity, and there's a problem.
Right.
It seems to be on every one we have, wherever we have.
It's also probably because they're so old and have never been washed. It's been a long time since they've been replaced. They didn't break down like everything else.
So let me ask you with the flapper valve, because I do agree with Rick, the flap type, can we put trap rock around the outside of it so it's not impacted by debris in the river?
Most likely, but then you're most likely going to trigger some kind of permits coming out of the DEP facility. There's another valve that they have. I haven't really used them, but where they could go into a structure, you don't have to put it out into the water.
It kicks on.
Right, but basically what happens is, so you're backing up that last run of pipe,
Correct.
which could create other issues in itself too, freezing, thawing. But I mean, it's another option that's out there that people are starting to use, rather than trying to go out of the water to do this.
So what do you want to do, guys? Do you want to have a look into it? Somebody want
that.
What's- yeah, I mean, I'll,
Well, you know what, then get us a scope of work for that.
Yep.
As an individual.
absolutely.
In the meantime, if dump fuels are so cheap relatively, if we can get a cost for that, just have Mark just put it on there for now while Dale's working on getting the larger project.
And actually, for the first meeting of the month, that Mr. Gagan should have an update on the dump bill, so maybe talk to Mark before that first meeting and
Sure.
update us on that one.
Okay, now, two separate things. The duck bill is on Jackson.
Yep.
Right.
The other ones are on Cornwall.
Exactly. They're on Cornwall, they're on John, they're on Center.
Exactly.
You know, so yeah, it's that weird
No,
intersection.
I mean, the two.
Yeah, they're two separate projects, because they're not, the two runs aren't connected.
So what I want you to do, or what we want you to do, is find, you know, the distance.
Yep.
To that way. Across the street, because if it's restricted from one side to the other, maybe we should put it.
You would have to put a crossing in there before you start your main run up to
And
that.
see if it goes anywhere else. Up John Street, maybe, past Stanley's, like that way, and see.
I don't
Maybe
believe,
that might be a place to add something.
I would say, I don't believe it does now, but it'll be a matter of adding, say, another 50 foot in inlet. You know, if you're going to Buffalo and do that run, you might as well try to capture what you can and resolve the issue.
I'm following.
I
agree. Yeah, I agree. I just think we should explore the ABS and not the oblong concrete, because we can get a better, stronger bank.
Yeah, sure.
Right, and it's they're residential streets, so it's not like you're trying to put them on a highway. And the ADS pipe, there are applications for under roadways, not just under grants. So.
That's why you're here, to figure all that stuff out. No matter how poor the directions are that I give you, you gotta do a super job.
That's great.
That's how it goes, bud.
I like to commend us, because that actually sounded like clear direction. There you go.
That's not bad, huh?
Unified.
It doesn't seem like it was confusing.
Okay. Reinstatement of sign-in sheet. I'd like to speak to that.
I would like to have that done, that the sign sheet for everyone to speak in public portion be reinstated. I know there was a discussion amongst us about having a podium with the microphone and having everyone come up. How do you feel about that?
I would support that, and like what Rick said, would be give stronger decorum to making sure people are not speaking out of turn, both in the public and we on the dais have to respect that boundary too. At the last meeting, as Rick pointed out earlier, a lot of people were talking to each other. We can't have that. It's unfair to the records, and unfair to the people that do get up and speak. They do that on the floor, and it allows us to hear what you're saying. So I would support that.
I would support it as well. Actually, Communications Committee has been working, Greg Wells has been talking with Jen Strell about using the audio equipment that's here, the PA system that we can hook up a microphone to, or we can look into the cost of it. I mean, they're pretty inexpensive these days of a wireless microphone so that it would be announced, so that you could hear what somebody's saying. Some people are very soft-spoken and you can't, the people in the back of the room can't hear what the people in front of the room are saying, so it would just be easier for everyone to hear what everyone's saying. It might be a little bit more orderly when there are contentious things happening in town and just lead to a calmer meeting.
And I'd also like to point out that the clerk cannot hear the name and address of people. Because people are mumbling, so it would help
Or
them.
they're just soft-spoken and they don't enunciate. And so when
I'm
you're doing the
fine with
minutes,
it,
it's
because
hard to get
I think it'll help Bonnie moving forward.
No problem.
You know, I
Face to
think
face.
it's a tool that, you know, it's fine.
Yeah, and-
We've had it for years.
You and I have spoke about that. You know, I'm all about, okay, I'm sitting here in view of the world, so should that person be asking a question in view of the world? Put that name with that face. So maybe that would have to keep the person a little bit more in line and so you
We
can.
have a podium right there,
Right.
it can be moved over to the side and,
Okay.
plugged into the PA system so that everyone will be better heard.
And again, it gets out of hand, it gets shut down. You know, signing on the list doesn't give you the right to speak, it gives you the right to be able to speak. And if it gets out of hand, you know, none of us want it that way, and I won't allow for it again. Okay. So that's unanimous, let's go with that then. Communications?
Actually, I just put that on, I did send an email to Brian Gagan, and I forgot to leave Ricky on it. Again, in light of the last meeting, and I don't wanna, beat a a dead horse with it. But I think we all realize that there's a problem up here with communication amongst ourselves. I'm willing to do whatever, I don't even care if it's like a mediation type thing, to figure out what the problem is, why we can't talk through it. And I'm just throwing it out there. I'm willing to do it. If no one else is, that's okay. But I think we're becoming highly ineffective by not communicating with each other, and then that in turn is then not being articulated properly out to the public. So, if anybody's interested, I'm game, but again, I'm only one person, so.
And I'm one person that speaks with everyone, so
Okay.
I think it'd be something for further discussion amongst us all.
Kind of like marriage counseling.
Exactly like marriage counseling.
Stormwater management, we good with that then?
Yeah.
Stormwater management?
Yeah, no, I wasn't here with the last event. Unfortunately, I did watch it on the news, the whole state of New Jersey on the border. This whole highway issue we have up here with Mama Hill and stuff like that, I think we have to step up and send legal letters out to states, Mama Hills, Middletown. They gotta get their watershed under control. We're being burdened with their mess every time it rains. And, I've talked to Mom Hill because they don't care, Middletown don't care, and states pretty much told us that politely take a hike. I think we got to posture a little stronger than saying, can we do something up there? We need to posture like that. We're going to take legal action against them. Anybody drives that on that highway, you see where the burn is worn out. Mom Hill, water comes down, goes right over. The state, the county freeholders have said they were trying to clean up that whole highway all the way through. Let them start there, get that cleaned up, just deal with that. But they're not going to do it without, unfortunately, posturing in such a way. You're going to get built.
All right, let's put our heads together, you and I will write up a letter, have it sent out, signed by all of us, and then go with that.
I think that's going to take
Didn't we do that like last year too? I mean, there's a
Well,
follow-up. I know
I-
we started it, and I know.
I followed up on it, and quite honestly, when Mr. Hill was here, and then with Brian, they had a brief with Mr. Gagan about it. The response from Middletown, they just got in their truck and left.
Right.
And Monmouth Hill didn't want to talk to us. Now, they did
Well,
do
we need
some,
to speak also, not that, I'm sorry to interrupt, but we need to talk with the state.
well,
Because
but
what's
that, let me tell you what the state did.
36 is the state. So in some of these pictures that I'm gonna have to get out to everybody because.
Drive up to Atlantic Island and see how the state got their best.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's, if the state
But,
can't figure out the bridge.
There's
level
ways to
line.
solve the issue that I believe, should be taking a proactive approach and saying, we wanna do something like this. Not only do we have to have the permission because it's state-owned highway.
Right.
But then we also ask for their dollars and cents to contribute to the problem, because they're putting an undue burden on our storm system. So, and they know it, they've been getting away with it for years.
Can I add on to this?
Absolutely sure.
So years ago, we had several meetings with Monmouth Hills with prior administrations, probably going back around 2008, 2009. They really weren't receptive to acknowledging a problem up there when their roads were all gravel, all dirt, all sand. I've been up there several times, just kind of scoping the area out. They do have inlets up there, but they are filled to the top. There's nothing that's operating up there, so everything is a sheet flow that comes down, and obviously, we're downhill, and we all know, water and everything else flows downhill. So we started with them. I do have a file on that. I think I have a file of actually their development up there. Also, we approached the state around at the same time, and even offered. We came up with like sediment bags, something they could put in the inlets on the highway to catch the sediment, and then they would have to just they'd have to maintain them. They'd have to have their road department come out, empty them, cage, and whatever. They were not receptive to anything. They pretty much thumbed their nose to us at that time as well. So what I could do is I could take that file out of the archives and share that. This way, you at least have some names, some ideas of what was discussed in the past.
And also, it was 9 years ago, so the last time we went to the state was 9 years ago. Administrations have changed,
Absolutely.
players may have changed,
I
and we
agree.
might find something that's more acceptable. Very good. Or come up with a better solution to the problem and say,
Right.
this is what we want to do.
Right, because right now they're only seeing what comes out of Monmouth Hills, especially in the junk angle down at the gully down by Caboozle. They're not dealing with, Monmouth Hills roads end up down here in the creek. And they don't see that, because it basically flies through their system and carries it down to us, and we get, like you guys were saying, we get stuck in all the burden. So,
I just don't think we should spend one penny on doing any kind of renovations or offer up there unless they're putting the money up first. We have to check cash first, because what they'll do is just like what happened on Valley Street up on top of the hill. We did the renovations and they stuck it to us.
and they'll make us get a permit.
And now we get stuck to the bill.
They'll make us get a permit for it.
Yeah, and I stood there with the state saying, yeah, well, it's our responsibility. Yes, absolutely our responsibility. 6 months later, we did the work, and they stuck us with the bill.
Yep.
And that's the problem with dealing with the state.
Absolutely.
Oh, sure, we'll pay you, do the work, send us the bill, and then they disregard us. So I think, again, in a positive, reinforcing legal letter to them saying, we're not tolerating you anymore. We'll go up and sandbag it across that highway and say, you deal with it. And you'll get the bill.
So you'll send your.
Yeah, I'll take the file. I'll take the file in the archives, scan it in, and then I'll send it around.
Thank you.
Send me in paper, okay?
Yeah, no problem.
That'll help.
No problem. I'll use the pictures tonight.
Pick it up. Good for everybody? Okay. Public portion. Right,
62 Bradley Point Road. I just want to say with the PA and the microphone system, it would be great if you guys had it as well, because with the refrigeration, we can barely hear any of you. We can hear down.
Yeah.
But for the rest of you, it's
I don't
really
know how to
hard
take
to
that.
hear back
Oh,
to
that's
the
good.
refrigeration running. So it would be good for both ways. No, just, okay.
Thank you. I don't know if we have.
Yeah, those
Just
microphones are plugged
recorded.
into the, yeah, they're just recorded for
Right.
the official recording.
Somebody else
There's
have
already
any?
got a mixing board.
Yeah, one of those, right?
Attached.
Yeah, we'll get one of those.
Some of
A
them-
karaoke machine.
If somebody in the audience can't hear, just say respectfully, say, please speak up, and we will speak up. It's a simple solution, just respectfully say, please speak up, and I think we will muster up and speak up.
Anybody else have anything to say? Jerry?
Uh,
Right across the road.
Yeah, I have two things. North Peak Street.
Name and address.
Oh, I'm sorry, Joey Feliciano, North Peak. If it's going through the process for the roads to get fixed, I know it's gonna take a couple of months. What I'm asking for is just those big holes that I have up there now, can they possibly be filled in for a couple of months?
Good.
Like some bluestone or something? I've been asking over a year for a little bluestone up there, that road is getting worse.
Okay.
And speaking of Monmouth Hills,
Fine, you're good with
Yeah,
that, right?
Brian said microphone.
North Peak gets quite a bit of sand on Monmouth Hills on every time we get a storm. I mean, right now I've got a couple of yards of sand on the road.
Okay.
The road also has to be pruned with all the overhang and over. I used to do it, but I don't really do it anymore. So that has to be done also.
So maybe Mr. Getty, you send up, Mark tomorrow with a guy, have him go up there and take care of it till it's done.
Somebody came up there and cut all the weeds off the line, and they just kind of all over.
You showed me, Mount Hill has a catch basin up there, correct?
Yep.
Maybe have more take pictures of that, and we can send it to Mount Hills, because they're not maintaining it, and it's causing undue, and causing damages to
I had a
us.
flood on my foot this year because that pipe was just clogged up. And it was coming out. That's one.
Who's that?
Two.
Oh, no.
Number two, I'd like to see Valley looked at and put back to a two-way street like it used to be.
Okay. I hear there's a petition gonna come out about that.
I gave one here over a year and a half ago.
I didn't see it.
You want to know?
I agree with you. I agree with you
Would you like
100%.
another one?
Yeah.
I will say, I think with the new town hall, if we move forward out there, I think that with the highway study.
You already got it, didn't you?
Here's a copy of the petition I gave you guys today.
Oh, that's a copy of the old.
You're welcome. I'm done.
Mr. Francis?
Chris Francie, 36 Fifth Street. Becky alluded to the next meeting, you're going to talk about the duck bills, but can we expand, or an update on the duck bills? Can talk about the townwide flood control program and create some sort of timeline for action, timeline to do it. We haven't really addressed it as a whole lately. So I don't know what's the best way to do it.
And I don't have an issue with that. I actually thought some of that discussion would happen tonight a little bit.
And so did I, and so.
Not knowing, how it was put on the agenda, just thinking stormwater management,
So, and I don't, at this point, I don't know what you're, we've moved away from the Army Corps project, so at this point, we have to get going on something.
And Chris, and Dale handed us a nice pro and con sheet. We have to do our homework. Thank you for getting it to us, Dale, but 5 minutes before and I would agree with that. The next meeting, we should be discussing some of these other options.
Yeah, and I guess my purpose is just to expand it beyond ductile.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Transparency.
Absolutely.
It has to get done now.
It's not just duck bills, and I printed out some stuff that I thought we were gonna speak about it further, but, just things, but then of course we have to buy it from the county, because it's Water Witch and Linden, but some of the drains that, that's the culvert for Jones Creek. It's like the drains that span, I don't know if you've ever seen them, but they trench drains that span the entire road.
Yeah.
Something like that coming down Linden, when all that water is coming off 36, is something that we should be looking at. I'm just saying, there are things that we should be looking at.
It's what we tried to do with that DBIS project.
Right.
That was
the
different,
point
that wasn't
of that,
a
is to
direct
get-
benefit.
But unfortunately, when that did not, you saw some of the numbers that came in.
Yeah, no,
It was, and we have to, and I think the combination of what Rick said, going after, for lack of words, going after Mama Hills and Middletown and the state, to solve some of their watershed, right? So we are effectively addressing a lot of the issues, but it's a little slice here, a little slice there.
And-
Maybe
just-
we should have a bigger scope for it.
I'd just like to remind everybody that a large part of the flood control project, besides the Snug Harbor Pump, is repitching all of the storm drains on the interior streets.
And a great deal of our storm drains are not, they don't have the proper grates on them.
Yeah, and that would be all,
And
yeah,
they're
absolutely.
cracking and they're undersized, or we don't have curved,
They're not even
we don't
compliant
have
with
rolled curbing that would control water flow. There's a lot of things going on, and what happens uptown flows downtown.
Right.
So we've got to get issues, folks, fixed on both levels.
And I get a little concerned as we start off on another project on North Street. I think Rick's original idea, incorporated as part of the big project, kind of makes sense. You'll have a lot of resources marshaled towards the big project. You can then add small pieces fairly
We just asked
easily.
for them to look at it.
I understand.
Don't,
No,
you know, go out there digging in the street tomorrow.
No, Carolyn, I understand.
It might be,
It's just
it might
that,
come back that that's when it's the time to do it,
Exactly.
but we don't know
Or it
what
might come back that
it
it's
is
more
right now.
beneficial to fix it now.
and so all I'm asking is, if we could have, next week, if you talk to Doug Rouse, talk about the whole project. That was all it was.
And that's, again, just so you know, I only broke that out because it was kind of a hot button issue and I want to keep on top of it, so.
No,
like,
no, it's a great idea.
that way at least we know which ones are done.
Thank you.
and we can get done there.
I mean, but, hang on, I just want to answer
I'm
one more
sorry.
thing, it's something that can come up, about the whole culvert versus pump station generator. No decision is being made today. These are just things that we are considering and looking at. Dale just gave us some sort of cost benefit, pros and cons, 5 seconds before the meeting. So we're not making any decisions. I'm just saying, if the ancient Egyptians could figure out stormwater management and how to build the pyramids, we put man on the move, we can't fix our stormwater issues, there's gotta be a way.
But we do have to get started. That's all.
Absolutely.
There is.
I'm just
I
trying
Okay,
to.
all right.
identify that because you were on council how many years ago? These issues were existing then.
But if we can solve the
So we're
problem
trying. We're
in a
aggressively
less
trying here.
expensive manner that has less maintenance, wouldn't you rather have that?
I'm sorry?
If we could solve this issue
What issue?
quicker, our
Stormwater management.
stormwater management, if we can solve it in a different manner, why is there only one solution to the problem? There's never only one solution to a problem, is what I'm trying to
But
say.
we are
Well,
taking.
if you're asking us to buy into the concept that you want to redesign the stormwater project that's fully permitted, have that discussion, but let us understand that.
Absolutely.
And we're doing our homework so we can discuss it.
Mr. Wells?
Hey, Greg Wells, 246 Bayside Drive. Brian, my apologies, I did actually meet with Jen about my idea with the PA. And the good news is we seem to have everything we need. I just have to get a meeting with you, which I've been delinquent on. Because I think we have the mic, we have all the mics, we have the PA, we have the mixer. We just got to put it all together, and I got to figure out.
I don't think she has a wireless mic.
Not a wireless. We got one with a long wire that can plug into the mixer, and the mixer can plug into laptops or whatever.
We don't want anybody to be able to wander around with the microphone.
Not that long a wire, but I think we have everything. I just gotta talk to you offline, which I can do after or whatever. So that's number one. Number two, it would be really helpful if we could. First of all, I love the fact that everybody's now talking about the flood issue, but it would be really, really helpful if we could print out like a 10 by 10 map that highlight these issues and these things so that us laymen can relate when you're talking about this drain here and that this drain is responsible for this whole body of problems. And if we're going to really talk about this for a while, can we print something big so we have like a visual reference of what we're talking about, so you can kind of look at it? Kellen, maybe we can take that on the
Dale
communication.
has the plan.
I was gonna say, how many pages is that stormwater management plan? It's like 22 pages?
Yeah, but some of it's details, some of it's some of it's just the interior components of the pump station. So the plan sheets, I think 6 or 7. Yeah, I do. It's like 6 or 7. But then to Mr. Wells' point, I think he wants to see what the watersheds are that drain into these components.
It's a complex problem, and I think if you could visualize the lower Highlands and see that this one duckbill with this small undersized pipe leading to it is creating this area of concern for the community, the residents could see and understand when you're talking about this, it's part of a larger solution. I don't know, I'm just a big fan of visual.
That should probably show on that set of drawings.
To an extent, it doesn't cover obviously every portion downtown.
No, and not for nothing. Some people will be able to interpret it, some people won't be able to interpret it, so we'll help them along with it. 2 or 3 pages tops, I'm thinking, mostly diagrams of where the watershed is, this sewer to that sewer, where it's going to be connected, that's supposed
So if you guys are talking, I think we could all get really behind and aligned on this if we kind of understood. One last question, if I may. Are we contractually or legally obligated to maintain drains from Monmouth Hills out through our system? Like, not that we would ever do this, but if you wanted to make a point, couldn't we just close drains?
No, because
Right,
the water will
that's
come
how mine-
across the street like it doesn't go down Woodwich Avenue. Unless you're going to put your...
It'll block Route
You can't do
36.
that, no.
State
If-
road.
I'm not a fan of creating, but if it blocks 36 and we claim we don't have the money to fix it,
That'll cause too much of a hazard. Way too much of a hazard, that water coming across the street like that.
And that's pretty much why the state hasn't fixed the problem, because they know they have a problem there, and for them to come in there and engineer it, they're gonna have to spend some serious amount of money. And of course, the water runs downhill, and then they're gonna come into our territory, and we're gonna make them do it right. Okay, so that's why the state hasn't stepped up to do it. And Monmouth Hill, listen, all due respect to them guys up there, they did some paving, some artificial Band-Aids, but it's still a problem for them. And I think we have the posture. We're not gonna allow people to rain on us anymore. We're gonna stand up and defend our stormwater management problems.
maybe just shut it down once.
We're done. If we try to solve that problem and make another problem worse, like draining that water through a resident's yard, it'll only get worse for everybody. So we'll do what we can. You guys, most of you guys been around long enough to know how it works. It works real slow, no matter how hard you press. It's just the way it is. Kim,
Kim
I'll
Square.
get you next, Donnie.
Kim Squirka Short Drive. I know it's just a temporary Band-Aid on one small spot, but maybe some hay bales should just arrive on that median on 36 above Waterwitch. Wouldn't solve the problem, but it might help alleviate it. I didn't realize Monmouth Hills was such a problem because when I asked about the DVIS pipe and the Army Corps project, I was told, oh, Monmouth Hills isn't a big deal, but now all of a sudden we're going like the legal route. So I'm a little confused, but I guess I'll figure it out over time. And if we're exploring various options for our stormwater drainage, can we please ask another engineer, another firm, to come in and look at it. We've had T&M in this town for at least a decade, maybe longer. I wasn't really paying attention at the early meetings I was going to. But we don't have a plan, really. We just keep putting Band-Aids. We'll fix Cornwall, we'll fix this, oh, we'll fix that. Let's get someone in with a fresh, clean slate who might have a new idea that says, oh, no, don't do that. If you do this plan for 25% less, it'll be more efficient. I think we need a fresh set of eyes on our flooding problem.
The problem with that is, that drainage plan that we have has already been paid for, to the tune of, I don't know.
1.2.
Then let's get another engineering firm in to review it and make sure this is the best, and this isn't a new
Peer review is
plan.
what you're asking for.
Yeah, an external review to make
But
sure
you
that
understand
this.
that's gonna cost even more money on top of the design that we've already paid for.
So we paid for a design, but we don't know if this really is the best design.
And unfortunately, when I dealt with the Valley Street sinkhole down there, when we put it out to bid, and the engineering firms that had, construction firms that had in-house engineering looked at it, they complimented Team for what they engineered, but they said this is ordered platinum when there's better methods and better ideas to solve the problem. So I do agree with you. I think when T&M did what they were told to do, and I think poor decisions were made by the leadership at the time when these deep plans were requested. I don't think they're looking at the fact that we have a pump down there that can vacate the water. So yes, I do agree with you. Peer review on anything we do moving forward is critical. We should be doing hiring firms that have in-house engineering to verify what T&M put together for us. Absolutely.
Well, on T&M's behalf, I'll say it straight up. T&M works at direction. They don't just go out and figure this out themselves. They work out direction. The mayor and council, what do you want to have done here? We want all the water drained from Mountain Street down to Valley Street and out to the river through that pump. So that's designed for a certain purpose, and that's where the water comes from. It comes from as far up as Mountain Street, down Valley, comes from roughly my place on 36. I'm up almost to the old bed and breakfast. All that water comes down there. It's just like you say Monmouth Hills and you think about the top of Waterwich Avenue. When it really goes hard, that water runs from that jug handle down 36 and comes down Waterwich. That's why when you say something like, let's put some hay bales there, let's sandbag it, put Jersey barrier in there, we're the downhill people. We're going to get that water. And we're going to get it down Washington, we're going to get it down Linden, or we're going to get it down to somebody's yard through the projects. Because that water, you can't build a wall high enough on this side to keep that water out. It's happening. We just said Doug and I are going to undertake the Monmouth Hill project, the state project, and see what we can do.
The water's going to come, but if it filters through a hay bale, it might catch some of the sediment. That's all.
Right. But
That's all I was
not
trying
really
to-
the intent. You were saying, Jim, you were saying block that water off.
No,
Right.
hay bales.
If Chief Blewitt's guys don't get there before he goes, or Assistant Chief Burton's guys, and a car comes down and hits that water pool up there, and you have hay bales there or some other device stopping that water, we're done. Okay, we're done. Somebody's done. Somebody's paying for that. It's just how it is. It's a rough situation we're in being the downhill people, but it's what we got to work on. I'm sure when Dale was asked to come up with the drainage program, the plans that he has, that was the direction he was given.
That plan started with $30 million worth of improvements, and that was actually started with another firm before us. And then we picked that up and tweaked it and modified it. I mean, the stuff on the valley, that was the direction at the time was to feed that pump station more water, to grab Atlantic Street, 5th Street, Cedar Street, Parted Bay, and make that pipe larger to feed that station more and get the water out of here faster.
Including the whole upland.
It wasn't an arbitrary size just to throw a larger pipe in and see what we could do. I mean, that's that was the direction it was given.
Right.
And I gotta say, I'm sorry if people think that we've been here a long time and this and that. You can only go as fast as you're allowed to. This design's been in place for years and years and years, and it just hasn't moved. And now I can sit there and pick somebody else's plan apart. They can pick my plan apart. I think Carolyn said it best. There's always more than one solution to any problem. But to sit there and say, well, the flooding is still here. Well, of course it's still here. You haven't done anything. So the pipes are still the way they were 50 years ago. That's why the flooding is still here. Is this project going to solve the flooding? No. Is it going to reduce it? Yes, but it will not solve the flooding. You are on the water. It's not going to stop. It's not going to stop the water from creeping up the beaches. It's not going to stop a failed duckbill. It's going to help evacuate stormwater coming through town to get it out. That's all the intent is, and it's not going to stop it. People have to understand that. You're paying for a level of protection. When a lot of you lifted your houses, you lifted it up to a foot or two above the base flood elevation. That's what you could afford. Was it the protection you wanted? Maybe not, but it was what you could afford. And that's exactly what you're doing here. You're putting a $5 million project together, $6 million, whatever it's going to be, and you're going to get this level of protection, but you're not going to solve the world.
That's the bottom line. That's the bottom line right there. You know, could things have been done better? Yeah, sure. You know, and probably just more than me are in service kind of jobs, and I'll be hard pressed to find another outfit that's comparable with T&M that's going to come in and bash them. You're going to pay to have, well, he could have done it like this, but what he gave he's going to work. Right now, that's professionals don't care. Smart, ask one. You know. So, who else?
Well, one of the,
Oh, okay, go ahead. No, go ahead. While
I
we're
was
on.
just gonna say, well, just because so much was lost in what actually got done or announced at last meeting, because last meeting was a little on the wild side. People didn't hear that we are actively engaged in fixing the head wall at Jones Creek. So the flap will no longer be frozen in the closed position. So the water won't be just billowing out of Jones Creek when it rises like that, and then the water comes up the storm drains and floods all of the adjacent streets. Once that is fixed, which is hopefully going to be this summer, I know Mark has already talked to 2 companies about fixing it, with all the valves that, outfalls that go into the creek, as well as replacing the head wall and the outfall there to be actually working. That will alleviate a lot of issues, especially when there's a heavy rainstorm.
We have Captain's Cove under
Right.
strong
Under
legal obligations to get things done. So to say, and I support what Karen was saying, to say we're not doing anything is a far misunderstanding. There's a lot of false information out there. There's stormwater management and there's sewer. You gotta separate the two. But yeah, the head wall out here, fixing that, Captain's Cove, the guys were actually down here working today, so working. So when we start adding all these things up, I think we're gonna have better stormwater management. And yes, to Mr. Francie, we should probably put a storyboard together and figure scope, updated. I'm not disagreeing with you on that. We are taking a lot of action.
How about, okay, just hang on a second. You could probably make a thing where you put projected, right?
Yeah.
That, rather than giving everybody a handout, you just project it out here and everybody can ask.
You project it on the whiteboard and use a marker to mark it up if you want.
There's a,
Wait, no, we're not there. Kim, you were last. Oh, Arnie, then Tricia. I got to Tricia, and just Arnie was there, I did see him.
Arnie Feud, 50 Valley Street. The water coming off of Monmouth Hills, can we get them to, there might be room, I looked quickly one time to see, and legally, can we get them to retain their water through, like, with ponds so that it's ponded before it gets to the highway, and hold them responsible for holding their runoff on their property like they do in a grocery store parking lot?
Right, with like a retention pond.
Yeah.
That's gonna take legal action, that's my
Yeah,
position.
Right,
You're absolutely
but
right.
I think it could be worth
Triggered
it if
enough.
you're spending X amount of money after it goes past 36 versus a one-shot.
I
And maybe
agree.
the attorney can answer this. Would it be worthwhile to look into the statutes of water having to be?
I'll answer to that. That's what we're gonna do, Arnie. We're gonna sit down with the legal attorney, write a letter in such a posturing way, stating state statute and ordinances, saying you're obligated for your watershed.
You are gonna do that?
Yes.
Okay.
We agreed upon that. Once we have that letter, and then whether we distribute it publicly, I don't know, but we'll do that. And that's
Yeah,
our
I think,
intention.
can you answer that? Does that make sense?
Going to take direction from the governing body. Dale indicated that he'll be providing the file. I'll review it, take under advisement, and see if there's a legally permissible action to take. I do know there have been issues in that area with a particular representative from the state that Dale's had issues with in the past. But we'll take a look at it. I can't answer your question for that.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Rivera?
Hi, Mr. Rivera, Woodward Avenue. Adding on to what Arnie said, this water passes a state highway, so the and then comes down to our property. So the state has to take some responsibility for some of this. They need, not only Monmouth Hills, it comes from Monmouth Hills, goes over a state highway and into our town. So I think you really should be pushing on the state and using all your contacts you got up there, your contacts up there, to fight for us, to stop that. But I want to also address, that's not the only issue, the runoff. The big issue is tidal flooding in this area. This is a big issue for us over here. So that needs to be addressed. And I don't know how the pump sounded like a very good plan to me. I don't know what else is going on behind the scenes.
Nothing's going on behind the scenes, Trish.
Well,
It's
I don't
been
know.
full disclosure.
Casing, Jones Creek, I heard, I don't know. I just, well, tell me what's going on.
Okay, he's gonna tell you.
Mr. Rivera, nothing's going behind the scenes. As I explained to you several meetings ago, that the Corps of Engineers suggested maybe putting a culvert down here and boxing it in.
Yeah, that was part of their plan.
No, it was not part of their plan.
Doug, do you
Okay.
really need me to, because I could tell you
It
right
was
now,
a suggestion within their plan that would be added on to their scope of
Wasn't
their.
added on, Doug.
Okay.
Please don't make me go
Okay.
there.
Okay.
I have, you can go to
In
the
any case-
31-minute mark
Before
on the
you
tape,
arrive,
and I can read to you verbatim what they said. Do you want me to do that?
And I was at all 14 of their meetings, and their meetings were inconsistent, but that's not the
Go
discussion.
to, anyone who's
Before you
listening, go
arrive,
to those 31
Before you
minutes
arrived,
on their
before
tape.
you arrived, we discussed everything you're talking about. If you had came on time, you would have heard how we are, Carolyn brought up the wall, how we're doing
Sorry I
something.
worked, but yeah.
Okay.
Very good.
So are we doing this Snug
Yeah.
Harbor pump is what I wanna know.
That is part of the thing that we're gonna look at, I believe, to the next meeting.
How
Come
much
out with
money
that.
have we spent looking, on engineering,
Mr. Mayor,
on
I don't know,
permits?
I don't know. I
Nobody
can't
has
give you that
a
answer.
number already on what we've spent
June 7th, we'll have that answer.
to do the pump. To start over and think of something new now that we don't even know it's gonna work.
We're gonna discuss it on the 7th.
Okay.
We'll have those numbers.
Okay, so now I have another question.
Okay,
The sanitary sewer,
yes.
On
Waterwich?
Waterwich?
Yes.
obviously, this is about the third time that went down, actually.
Mhm.
Due to the flooding we're getting here. Yes, it is. We're getting infiltration into the
It's from the
sewer.
infiltration, yes.
Yes, that's exactly what's happening. So I'm asking, are we going to have any of our drains or our sewer lines televised to see what the hell is going on down there? Because it's dangerous now. You're talking about bacteria on our street, you're talking about viruses on our street.
There was no loss on that street.
It came up on the manhole.
Mayor, I did speak with Dale about the televising of, sent you the email from Trish.
And I think we need to do that now,
So,
given
we
this
identified it's been
sanitary
about 5
pipe
years or
problem.
8 years since we've done it.
It was televised once, that would be Basin 1? 2?
No, Basin 2 is the other side of town. This was more Basin 8,
Basin 8,
yeah,
okay.
in that area. Fairfax.
We did some, work on Basin 8 now.
Oh yeah, we did all of Basin 8 about 2006.
And we earned money by doing it.
We did. We got some money back from the then sewer authority.
We've been having a lot of problems. We had an emergency condition down there the day it rained.
Yeah,
We
it
went down
happened
with the
3
guys,
times
the
before
guys
that.
were down there and they did a good job. We changed some pumps out and we're gonna make it work and it's gonna be an ongoing
I know,
process.
but my question is, are now, since this happened, are we going to be televising what's going on underneath on ground? Because it obviously was caused by infiltration.
Yes, I believe we will be doing that.
I know every time you see an Oswald truck out, they're pumping and doing that repair, they have a camera on, so that's recorded.
I mean this whole area is what I'm talking
I agree with you, and I think Rick answered that question, but yes, when you see an emergency like Oswald, when you see a big truck, they're pumping, they're recording, and we're taking that data and analyzing it, and that's Mark, our new DPW and C2 operator is on it aggressively, and focused on exactly what your concerns are. And he's on it. And it's unfortunately, I know waterways pumping's, it's gonna be probably $500,000 to fix and repair.
Well, I mean, I don't know how anyone didn't realize that the condition
That's
of
the
that.
$1 million question.
So nobody ever looked inside there.
It
That's up
has
on
been
that
looked
table.
on, and we were going
Really?
along, and we were fixing. Yes, we were. Summer Basin 8 has been fixed. I know it has. You know, has it all been done? No. You know,
I saw that looks like it's about to fall down.
the building.
Yeah.
Yes, that's another thing. we're
Well,
working
and the
on,
pipe,
so.
they blew
Okay.
out 3 times before. The big blowout was the night of the big rain and the 36 runoff.
Right,
That's
but there
what,
was no loss of sewage, I don't believe, was there? Was there a reported loss that day? I don't believe so.
people, well, I mean, there were people that saw sewage coming up from the manhole on Waterway, so.
Yes, and as a result of that, our Mark, our DPW C2 operator, called the appropriate authorities, brought in the right resources, and addressed it as any other town in the state of New Jersey would have dealt with, and met all state requirements to deal with it. Let's face the fact.
That means because it's
I
surcharge.
appreciate that, but it's a
Yes,
concern
it's
now.
being looked at.
And it's
The
a
safety
concern.
of this area is a concern to everybody in this area.
And it's a concern for me as a councilman, especially as a liaison to the sewer.
Concern
It's
for
very,
everybody
it's a
in
big
this
concern for everybody. Dismiss that we're not concerned about it, it would be false.
You missed. Gonna sum it up with you.
Tina Kemmerer, 164 Linden Avenue, Hilltop and Highlands, kind of in the place. So this is totally not about the pumps and the
Doesn't
drains
have
and
to
stuff. So a mundane question, but an important question, I think. It has to do with M&S sanitation services, and I know that we just somewhat recently, renewed their contract. My question is this: we have had a lot of rain, and obviously the flooding there's issues. I don't know if people realize that with dumpsters, business, and condo communities like mine, we have a couple of big dumpsters. Even with the lids closed, and with that rain, that torrential rain that we've had, we got so much water in those dumpsters. Now you're talking about like kitty litter and old food and all kinds of putrid stuff going on in there. I just really have to criticize the quality of work that M&S has shown consistently, the lack thereof, especially with all of the breeding of Zika, God forbid it's going to be etching its way up the East Coast, West Nile, this rain, this humidity, this crazy weather. They have bypassed our dumpsters. They would just take a peek in these kids. I don't know if they get trained about what sanitation is. I probably don't need to educate everybody here about sanitation, but evidently M&S needs to be educated. I have called them because I know going down to the borough shed, they said, just call M&S directly. So I have.
No.
I've
You call
gotten
M&S
no
directly.
result.
You call the borough, and the borough is the intermediate between you
Well,
and
I've been told
M&S.
to call, I did
No.
call M&S. And, the girl receptionist, very nice and everything, but, there has been nothing. And I've called probably over the past couple of years. Just to illustrate those, so we have probably about 2 feet of water in our dumpsters. They would peek in and go, maybe there's just not enough garbage bags for us to empty it out. We're going to let it fester for another, they would skip our zone. We're zone 2. So Tuesday, Friday, skip us. The stuff is festering in there from all of that rain. Finally, the following Tuesday, I'm getting to a point here. They empty it out, and in the holding bay of the garbage truck is all of this putrid water.
Right.
And the guy decides he's going to jerk the truck and have all of that water. It's not water, it's sewage. Dump out right in front of our dumpster. P.S. Our mailbox receptacle is right there, so you have to walk there. You have to throw your garbage out. You have to open up your mailbox of this putrid mess. And the guy's laughing. They think it's funny. And so I did call and say, this is not acceptable. Well, nothing. Today, so Tuesday, we were supposed to have our garbage picked up. It's all sitting in there. So, what are we paying for
Are
with
they your
this
dumpsters?
service?
Just let me ask. Are they your dumpsters?
There are dumpsters. Yeah,
Your
they're
association
ours.
owns
There are
them, huh?
condo dumpsters. And, they're supposed to be serviced.
Right.
You
No,
know, the
they're supposed to be empty.
recyclables, they're supposed to be empty.
Right,
I mean,
right.
is there a certain amount of garbage
No,
bags?
there's not, but
that are
there should be a drain in that dumpster that'll let that water out as it comes in. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying, so it doesn't accumulate like that.
Well, maybe when it's all covered up at the bottom with garbage, you know, I don't know.
I'm just saying
Evidently,
that maybe
They're
that should be
regular
looked at.
standard dumpsters, you know, the heavy PVC
sure.
lids.
Sure.
But obviously, the kind of rain that we've been getting, which has been crazy,
Right.
you know, early May. And it's just the lack of respect and the lack of, you know, if you drive down Linden Avenue, you can see the flung, you know, garbage. I don't know if you've had to drive down Linden and try to like dodge the
The
garbage.
cans.
Oh, they just gotta fling them out to the street, you know.
Well, what you have to do
Put them on the curb.
is when that occurs, you have to call down the Borough Hall, because I believe they come in every day, don't they? The guys from the truck, at least,
Oh,
from one
do
truck
they?
at least, they come in every day. Any problems, right? Any complaints?
They need to treat us, you know, I mean, they need to treat residents and businesses with a little bit more care, respect, and they need to be sanitary. I mean, you know, I can
Okay.
understand with businesses and the dumpsters are kind of further away from the premises, but when there are dumpsters in community settings and it's, you know, it's everything is very close knit, your mailbox is next to the dumpster and so
Sure.
forth. You're talking about, you know, sanitation, it shouldn't have to be like that.
No, but not for nothing, and it might sound harsh, that water in that dumpster is probably your
Responsibility.
Yes.
So to check the drainage.
Yeah,
in
there's generally, in the back corner, there's generally a hole there to let the water run out.
Right.
Maybe it has a plug in it,
Right.
so that should probably be where you should go
I'll
with
have
that
to go,
first.
I'll go to the association.
Because his truck has 2 holes drilled in it, right below the handles.
Right.
So that just goes, you see it, you can follow the truck sometimes.
No, I see, I know the dribble part,
So,
but this
you can look
this
at
was
that.
totally intentional. I mean,
Okay,
you
I'm
can
not-
go, you can
I'm
go
not-
dump it off like
I'm
down
not debating that
someplace.
with you,
Yeah,
but
there's a better way of handling it than the way that
Yeah.
they did it, because it was just, it
Mr.
wasn't the right
Gagan,
way
I
to
saw
handle
him write that down, and I'm sure he's gonna
it.
address
Okay,
it.
so, I'm sorry, that's my
That's
gripe, you
okay.
know, it's just every day, we're kind of self-run, like the township, we're on a really tight budget, we got
Sure.
slammed with, you know, a hill slump. So we're running around cleaning up a mess, you know,
Uh,
that
understood.
we're paying, you know, the service for.
Well, I like when they can't get the bottom thing out of the garbage can, so they turn it up in front of your
Oh,
house,
and they
and
just-
bounce it on the sidewalk, so when you flip it over, it's all laying there.
Right,
Okay.
so,
Sir, you
thank
want?
Yeah, hi, Ian Frugio, 10 Waterwich. 2 points, not to kind of take away from all the work that's went into the current plan, but if we're coming kind of to the end of a $5 or $6 million investment, I would echo Kim's concern that, hey, if it doesn't cost us anything to have it reviewed by other firms, peer review, as you guys said, I think that's something worth pursuing before, you know, making that type of an investment. Just, you know, a second set of eyes. If it doesn't cost anything, even if it was nominal, $1,500, if you're going to spend $6 million on a plan that's maybe 10 years, however old it is, maybe it's worth just taking a look at it. That was one point.
Okay.
And then the second point, this is something I actually brought up at a council meeting a very long time ago. Down at the end of Waterwich here where it meets Bay Avenue, I mean, that is just, it really should be a 4-way stop there because you have a lot of cars speeding down Bay Ave. You have a lot of people trying to enter into town. It's a very awkward intersection. You've got, you know, storefront there. You've got a park there where kids are playing, and you've got a skate park a half a block away. That area there really needs to be kind of a zone where people are being cautious, slow, and a 4-way stop, I think, would really go well there. And it would, you know, I think it would kind of enhance the whole thing.
We could bring that before the PD for review of that, I believe. You know.
Yeah, I've
That's
been
an alternate egress because there is no stop sign there from having to wait on Shore Drive when the commuters leave.
no, not there. I'm talking Bay and Waterwich.
Bay, Waterwich, and South Bay. Well, I mean, North Bay, whatever you call it there. Right? They come behind the VFW.
No,
and
it's
shoot
not.
there.
No, the corner of Bay and Waterwich, right at the corner where the park is.
Right, you're in agreement, you're saying it 2 different ways.
Okay, sorry.
When you come down Shore, you see traffic on Shore Drive, you shoot behind the VFW.
Yeah.
You shoot
Right,
out through
yeah,
that
exactly,
intersection
yeah.
Because there's no stop sign.
Right, no, that's not my concern. It's really more coming into town, you know, trying to come across to go down Waterwich towards the water, number one. And also, you've got a lot of cars coming whipping down Bay to make that left, and the traffic backs up on the hill for that reason. So if
Well,
you
there is a stop
alternate,
sign coming down.
but there's
Okay.
not one on Bay.
Okay, we can look at that.
Thank you.
It's county, it's county.
Okay, yeah, that's why you.
And I do think,
I just-
if I could just say something, I think enforcement of, on the corners, it's tough, like, you go to stop there, you gotta go halfway in the intersection before you can see if they're coming at you.
Right.
It's a good
They
point.
park to get their cup of coffee so
Blind
close to
spot.
the end, they're hanging out in Bay, and you sit there and you inch and inch and
Yeah,
inch, and you're like, at that point, I'm done.
You have people down there getting coffee. You have
Yeah.
children. You have.
And then that's,
it's
you
a,
know,
it's a,
it's
it's a
fine,
kind
it's
of,
just a tough,
It's a blind spot.
it's a blind turn there. Yeah.
Sir?
Yeah, hi,
Go
Jamie
somebody-
Klein, 330 Shore Drive. I was just wondering, and I know this has been brought up, I wasn't at the council meeting, but over on Shore Drive where all the yellow curbs are, they don't seem to be enforced, and some of the signage doesn't seem to be enforced there for the commuters. And I was also wondering if there's any chance that they could extend the yellow lines. I heard that they couldn't, but I wasn't sure why.
Where are you at, sir?
330 Shore
No,
Drive?
I mean, where?
Like, if you go past the C Street, they're parking like in front of the properties, pretty much all along now, Shore Drive, because they don't want to go to the, from my perception, they don't seem to want to go to the other lot, the overflow lot.
Okay.
So they park and line the street. And I mean, there's even like, I know I saw that there was some cars parked where it said like 7 to 7, no parking, and they still park there. And there's no tickets given out, so.
That's something that has to be addressed because later this year or early next year, bigger boats are coming. So it's gonna have to be addressed. We'll have to work with the police department on that.
Yeah, I would appreciate it,
And
thank
the
you.
board. You haven't spoken yet, and
Uh,
I'm gonna
Mary's-
close this, I swear, with you when you're finished.
No,
one person
no.
Oh, do you? One person on this side.
Mary
Oh, that was
Saltzman.
Carlos, you already spoke.
Mary Saltzman, Snook Harbor. Is there a C Street liaison person? It's hard for me to understand that there seems to be so much consternation about all of the commuters and so forth, and it seems to be costing the borough money, and I don't understand why their contribution, I don't even know what their contribution is, but it doesn't seem like it's very much, if anything. So
There is a contribution, and I believe it's figured out through some kind of mathematical process of something. I don't know how it works, I know there is.
it just seems like
And
they're
you can
getting
only
the bargain
do
of the
so much, as
century.
I think it's like wear and tear and such as that. Is that what it is, Dale? So,
Is there
but it
some-
has to be looked at, there's no doubt
Yeah.
that in the town, and that's the word that they're coming with bigger and newer boats, so.
Well,
It's gonna have to
that's a
look at.
perfect then situation to sort of renegotiate or,
Right.
look at that again.
Very, very good.
That's my big contribution.
Who else? It was just Carla?
Yeah, please.
Sum it up.
I just wanna, follow up two things, one thing for down. Electric for Veterans Park, how are we doing with that?
Stalled in Jersey Central right now. They can't, it's stalled with Jersey Central right now.
Wait, why?
Because now, we went through the process, got their okay for the upgrade, everything's good, ready to go. Contractor's ready to go, order all his material, Jersey Central comes out and says, oh, that's a Verizon pole, it needs to be changed. We can't put new service up there. And now they're fighting with Verizon, I guess, to resolve that issue, to put a new pole in. It's the same process that we had to go through, unfortunately, when we did the firehouse. It was in the 11th hour, after you have a contractor on site, and the building's half built, Jersey Central comes out and says, oh, by the way, we need something done with this pole here. And that took months. So that, right now, we're hung up.
Responsibility to contact Verizon? You said JCP&L is, I don't think it would be their responsibility.
It is, it's their service.
So,
It wouldn't be up to the borough to contact Verizon to get them to replace the poles so Jersey Central can put a service on.
so are we following up with Jersey?
Absolutely.
Central?
It was even followed up again today.
And, the streetscape issues, like the trees that didn't grow back, I know last year you said that since they planted them at an odd time, if they didn't, I just wanna make sure before we close things out that we get what we're supposed to.
Right, phase 1 is on a maintenance bond, phase 2 is not closed out yet. They have a couple things they have to do, and they're still an open claim on phase 2, so everybody's still in play yet.
So the trees were phase 1, so are they gonna replace the,
If there's anything that has died or is in jeopardy, we'll say, yeah, we can have them replaced.
and the cracks in the crosswalks on Quarterwich?
What cracks?
There's like,
Between the,
yeah, between the Stam Concrete and the crosswalk on Bay and Shore Drive at
Okay.
Woodwich Avenue.
All right, I'll check them. I was unaware of that, but I'll check them.
White stripping,
Yep.
it's around.
Okay.
Dale, just to help out Carla, I went through town, going through all that, because I know I have to follow up. I spoke with Steve on several issues of the checklist, so I'll be following up with Dale on a lot of your questions, so to answer that.
Okay, I'm gonna close the public portion, but before I do, I wanna say something. I believe Friday is gonna be that man's last day in uniform on the job, Chief Blewett. And I think everybody owes him a thank for the work that he's done in this town. And I will say, him and I had differences along the path, but I think that's, and I just say thanks, Joe, that's all. Square it right up with you, okay? You did a good job, okay? And we'll have something when it gets done, I guess, you know, or it's all there, you know, but good luck with the new thing you got going, all right? I move to adjourn.
Second.
Okay.